This one hurt, guys. This one hurts. What a sad, sad morning for Baltimore. Yesterday seemed surreal. Time seemed to stand still at the game. It was almost like watching a disaster happen in slow motion. Like most of you, I thought this was our year. But now we have the Chiefs in the Super Bowl yet again with one of the worst offenses they've ever had historically. Gave it to them. Let them come in and take it from us because it was ours. Have to give them props though. Have to give them props. They came out motivated to prove us all wrong, and they did. To have the year we have had, be healthy, get the first seed, the bye, home field advantage, the first ever AFC Championship game we've ever hosted. And to go out like that, it's tough. It could happen though. It's the playoffs, right? We need to all be realistic. This is what happens in the playoffs. Only two teams can make it to the Super Bowl, but only one from the AFC, right? Next season's going to start to ramp up, and the sting of this one will get less and less. Before I want to jump in on my thoughts on the game, I just want to take a second to kind of ask you guys, if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe to the channel. Ozone is only a few weeks old, but we've gained a lot of momentum the last few weeks. It's all because of you guys watching, liking, and subscribing to the channel. I really do appreciate all of you for watching this and giving this thing a chance. So jumping into the game, first things first, you cannot have 2 turnovers in the red zone during the playoffs and expect to win the game. Can't do that. I'm not really going to blame Lamar for that strip sack fumble that he had early on in the first half, but man, the Flowers fumble into the end zone as well as the interception he had was really, really bad. His track record, unfortunately, now is 8 turnovers and 4 touchdowns in the playoffs, which leads him to have a 2-4 record. Maybe this is a controversial take, but I don't care. I don't care about MVP awards. What matters is how the MVP plays in the playoffs, and unfortunately, he's 2-4 with 8 turnovers and 4 touchdowns. He's got some work to do, guys. As much as some of you might not want to hear it, he's got some work to do. And I believe in him, but I'm not going to be confident with him in the playoffs until he turns this around. Even add last week, the first half of the Texans game, something was off as well. And it's not all on him. It's not, but he's the leader of the team. He's the leader of the offense. And to hold the Chiefs to 17 points, to under 20 points, and for our offense to come out there and put up 10 in the playoffs, it's sad, man. It's sad, and the defense deserves better. The defense, they had historic numbers. They put up historic numbers this year. They played lights out. They didn't allow the Chiefs to have a touchdown or any points in the second half. And to hold them in total under 20 points, come on, offense. I saw some highlights where there was some miscommunication. Bateman was supposed to go long on a play, and they somehow mixed that up. But how are you going to mess that up? How are you going to mess that up? In the AFC Championship game, one of the biggest games of the season. So they're going to go back. They're going to look at the film. They're going to see where they need to what they need to work on. But 10 points. 10 points in the playoffs isn't it enough to do it, guys? No matter how bad the offense played, we were still in that game. It was because of the defense. I could do without the penalties. I can do without the personal foul penalties. And some of those, being at the game, it's hard to see that happen in real time, but watching the replays, it's just free yards we gave them. Now, did that materialize into some points? Not necessarily. Again, we played lights out on defense. The offense needs to get it right, though. We cannot be wasting these years when we have a #1 defense and have almost like Kyle Bowler 2.0 playing out there for us during the playoffs. Come on, guys. Open your eyes. We all have eyes. We can see how bad that was. MVP records do not matter in the playoffs. I would give, Lamar might disagree with me, but I would gladly have someone else win those awards and for us to actually play the way we are capable of playing in the playoffs. I don't care about MVP awards. Some of you argue back and forth about why it's so important and why it's so great. And it's like you're trying to prove a point and hide the fact that we are just not good in the playoffs with this offense. He has the weapons. We had the run game. We didn't run the ball. He could have ran the ball. Did you see some of the runs he had? What were we thinking on offense? The Flowers fumble was absolutely backbreaking. The taunting he had right before that was just as bad. I know he's a rookie. and the Chiefs were doing it as well, and unfortunately they were not being flagged for it, which is kind of what I thought would happen going into this game. Chiefs would get some of the calls to go their way with this referee being who he was and what his record was, right? But you can't get up after making an incredible catch and make an incredible play and push the defender back down to the ground, stand over him and flex. You can't do that. Can't do that. Add to the fact that after he fumbled the ball, he went and punched the bench, which made him have a cut on his hand, which most likely impacted him the rest of the game. I can imagine it's pretty hard for a rookie mentally to come back from the game he had, but I believe Flowers will bounce back. He's a competitor. He will bounce back next year. And also, we can't go without talking about the incredible play from Snead there to punch that ball out. Unfortunately, the 1 yard doesn't like us. We always have some crazy plays that happen around the 1 yard line that don't go our way. As a quarter of a second, tenth of a second later, that would have crossed the line. That would have crossed the plane, and we'd be talking touchdown, and there would be a 3-point game, and that game, the atmosphere would have been electric at M&T Bank. We all thought it was. We all thought, at the beginning of the game, we thought he scored until about 15 seconds later, we realized it was a fumble or potential fumble. And, man, it's just rough, guys. It's rough. One of the other things I want to talk about is Lamar's interception he threw. Triple coverage. Although rewatching it at home, it was absolutely pass interference, but still, you can't be forcing the ball there. You cannot force the ball in the end zone like that. Take the yards in front of you. Don't go for the kill shot like that. We were driving on them. Kelsey, back to Flowers taunting. Kelsey was taunting the entire game. The refs did not take any issue with it because he's Kelsey, right? In my earlier video, I said if the game was close, the refs would side with the Chiefs and we would have to compete with that as well. But we weren't even competitive, as an offense this game. Did you guys see the during warm-ups what Kelsey did to Justin Tucker? What an absolute a-hole. Now, Chiefs fans will come out and argue that Justin Tucker was on their side of the field, but it's very interesting to me that their kicker was on our side of the field and not a single Ravens player slapped their ball away or threw their helmet. How that wasn't, I guess because it's pre-game warm-ups, like whatever happens, but how can he not be fined for that? At least, fine's no big deal to Mr. Kelsey there, but how can he not be fined for that? Him throwing his helmet and throwing the ball away when he's warming up. Justin Tucker just laughed it off, so good for him. Good for him. With the historic season we had, though, getting the bye, getting home field, gotta take care of business. What a total letdown. Here we are again, 4 years later after one massive letdown, talking about the same type of thing. We just were not prepared. It's either we're in shell shock and showed up and we were just not ourselves. We were not ourselves. I know the players wanted to do better and are completely devastated this morning, right along with the fans. The bank was so loud. Last night, my ears are still ringing. We got to do better. Another thing I want to point out too is how the heck do you only run the ball for 6 carries the entire game? They had a terrible run defense. But for us to come out have 6 carries the entire game, What is Moncton thinking? What was he thinking? I would just love to be there, up in there in his box, and have someone say, "Hey Todd, I recommend that we do not run the ball anymore this game. What do you think about that?" Was he like, "Great idea, let's do that. Let's hone in on that"? Lamar was having an off game passing the ball, so running would have at least given him time to readjust and bounce back from the game we were having. We just double and tripled down on pass. Baltimore became the first team in 20 years to lose a conference championship when holding the opponent to 17 points or less. Think about that. Think about that, man. This one's going to hurt. We'll be better for it. But, man, this one's going to sting for a while. I don't know if I'm going to really watch the Super Bowl. I guess I have to, right? I want the 49ers to do what we should have done to the Chiefs. Total domination of the run game. Keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands, man. I'm a little worried about Purdy. Being second-year player himself, going up and playing in the Super Bowl. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. But I think the 49ers are built to handle the Chiefs. Do what we didn't do. Take the bully Kelsey out of the game. Bully him. They have the players to do that. But yeah, I'll hit you guys later with another video later in the week, kind of re-summarizing what happened here, talking about I think it's going to happen in the Super Bowl this week. But appreciate it, you guys.